veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
Welcome back. Welcome back. This is actually Aubrey here with Kimberly Reviews, and we are here to give you your math recap and
Yep,
review. How's everybody doing today?
I'm doing
Um,
well.
you're doing well. Good, good, good. That is so good. A few people that came in. Oh yeah, got the reminder set. Boss Life. Sylvia's in the building. Uh, Coin Artist. Rooted and Essentials, and of course, Kimberly. Yay!
Yeah, I like that coin
Yeah,
artist. That's different.
yeah. As opposed to con artist, coin artist. I
Yeah.
thought that is kind of catchy. Well, how's the weather there where you are? We are having a spectacular day in the D. It is basically 60 degrees and sunny and bright, and it feels like summer almost.
Yeah, same here. My kind of weather in North Carolina. We are at 69-ish, so a beautiful sunny day.
Awesome, awesome. Hey, Carlton. Yeah, I love sunny days. Sunny days just for whatever reason make everything seem lighter, brighter, and happier to me.
Yes. Yep.
Yep. So that's what I will say about that. I hope the weather is good where everybody else is. Where did I see? Was it down in who was having the wildfires? Uh, within the last couple of days, was that in Texas
Oh
where they
my,
were
I
having?
missed it.
Yeah, I think I want was it Texas or was it Florida? Somebody's panhandle, so either Texas or Florida. They were
Hmm.
having these wildfires, and it was just terrible.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
hey, look who's in the
Oh, prayers.
building.
Oh, my
Hey.
mother.
Oh, I heard you guys were hanging out last weekend, huh?
Yeah. The Soul Circus.
Yeah, tell us about that real quick. How was that?
It was good. We really enjoyed it. A full house too, maybe 1,000 people there. It was a sold out show. They do a few shows each day, Thursday through Monday. So it was so nice to have them back, and they were ready to entertain us with their flips and tricks and all the things. They no longer have the animals. I think they announced that a few years ago because
Really?
of yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
animal cruelty thing. So they kind of took them
Oh,
out of the show.
okay.
Understandable, but yeah, we missed seeing the animals. But it's still a good
Okay.
show.
Still a good show, yeah. It
Oh
sounds
yeah.
like it was. And what was the ringmaster? Was he a tall, handsome guy like he usually is every year?
Well, down south we get the little short guy, but it was not him.
What?
Zeke. Yeah, we get Zeke, so he kind of stayed off to the side this time. So we had
Okay.
just an average looking guy. Yep, he was a new
Okay.
guy to us, so he was
Okay.
good. I'm
I'm
gonna have
sure
to
he
come
was
up
good.
north.
Yeah. Yeah, because we used to get the tall guy that looks like he
Oh,
is a former model and he's got a straight
okay,
back and long legs and I'm always undressing him with my eyes and everything.
okay. Hear that,
Like,
mama?
hey, eye candy for sure. Okay.
Yes.
Uh, hey Monique, thank you for dropping Kimberly's information in the chat. I
Thank you.
appreciate you so much. And let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and get started because this is a whole hot mess. So we're on season 17 of Married at First Sight, and it's episode 19, Sex Lies and Questionable Behavior. So let me go get the pictures and we'll get started with the first couple. This couple right here is going to be a very brief. Oh, where are my couples at? Got to scroll a little bit here. There we go. Got couples right there. Okay, this couple, and then I got to make note of the time so I can put the timestamps in. Okay. Claire and Cameron, of course, very briefly, and this was basically all in Claire's, according to Claire, because we didn't get Cameron really this episode, but we opened up with the scene with Claire and Emily. And so Claire is basically telling Emily that how much Cameron cares about her and how much they care about one another. And what did you think about that? What did you think about those comments?
Oh, Claire just needs to cut it out. She is just, I don't know, trying to keep her a good look. Like she really tried, but in my opinion, she didn't even try to be a decent wife with all
Mm-mm.
the backhanded comments
Yep.
towards Cameron from the beginning. And they both played their share fair of negativity, but
Yes.
I just wish they would let it be. I would not be calling and checking on him. So I just don't think either one of them are genuine. And Claire does not need to be giving advice to anybody else.
I know. Clarapist, as we like to say, Clarapist, I don't know. I think that the university that she's attending should not give her a degree in therapy because psychology, because I don't think she's going to make a good therapist. For
Yeah.
one, she doesn't even have self-awareness to know how I don't think she even recognizes how she treated Cameron, that she was
Mm,
standoffish. She would say things like he's not even touching me. He doesn't even like me without even
yeah.
ever having asked him, do you like me? I like you, or tell him whatever, and actually
Yeah.
have a conversation. She started from day one after the wedding saying, oh, well, since we don't like each other, like what? You
Right. A
kidding
mess.
me, lady? A mess, a mess. And so I'm trying to remember too. What else did Claire have to tell Emily? Oh, I know. So Emily in this conversation, Emily was saying how she thinks that her and Brennan are doing better, and she is so hopeful. And I'm just at home, just rolling my eyes at the TV screen, just rolling my eyes like Emily does sometimes. We see her rolling her
Hmm.
eyes and making my snarky face. I'm making all kind of snarky faces. What were you thinking while you heard M talking about how good she and Brennan are doing? I'm sorry.
The same, because he was only trying to be a good sport because she injured himself. Now he would really look like a terrible guy if he abandoned her during her time of need. You know, she had the accident where she hit the tree, and he was just being a decent guy, in my opinion. That's what
Hmm.
anyone should do. But Emily just took it too far. She is just acting like, oh, we are back together and things are going great. No, he is your caregiver, and that's it.
Right, exactly. He's just doing, like you said, he's just doing what anybody, and which we're going to get to that in a while when we get to them as the last couple.
Hmm.
Basically, Emily does tell him when he tells her that he saved her life. She does say, "You just did what anybody else would do."
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so okay, so we're going to move on to our next couple, and that is this couple here, Becca and Austin. Becca and Austin. Okay, Becca and Austin, I've got them. My notes say, what do my notes say? Hmm. Oh, yeah, the clay party. So or clay play, I called it. They go to try to do an activity. I guess it's a little bit of a date. And
Mhm.
they go to a clay studio, a pottery studio, and they're playing in the clay. And I guess the idea was because right away I thought of what was it, Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore in the movie Ghost.
Oh, yes.
I thought of that scene and I thought, oh, because that was one of the most romantic scenes in cinematic history.
Mhm.
But I said, no, it's not going to work for them. It's just not going to work for them. Because as soon as they were finished, Becca was saying she was feeling cold. And what did she do? She went to go get Austin's jacket, but she forgot to wash her hands. So you take it from there, Kimberly.
Oh, yes. And I am 100% in agreement with Austin because all he wanted her to do was wash your clay hands before you go touch my expensive coat or wear your little cheap jean jacket. That's all he was trying to say. And I understand. I'm all for washing hands, being clean. And that's just
Hmm.
something you have to do and learn when you're with your partner. He wasn't saying, "Oh, you can't have my coat." He was just like, "Wash your hands." And Becca did not like it. Becca just said that it was like he was shutting her down once again, because we've seen all season that she hasn't been able to get the affection from him. And so the
No,
coat thing was probably just the last fire.
that was just the last straw right there.
Yeah.
He is not having it. You are not gonna get my new jean jacket all messed up that I paid with my mass money. I paid for this with my mass money, and doggone it, I'm gonna keep it clean. Let's see what Donna
Right.
Donna D says. Oh, going back to Claire. I think Claire was done with Cameron when he didn't help her with the luggage. Oh yeah, going on the honeymoon and leaving her in the dust. I
Yes.
guess so, Donna D. But the that's fair. That's kind of fair that maybe she was upset with him. But as a therapist, and that's another thing about Claire. Claire is very rigid. You bring up a very good point. Claire is very rigid, but why would you come into this process where you marry a stranger and then you're going to be unforgiving? Then that reminds me of Orion and Lauren. Why would you be unforgiving? I can understand her being upset, and she did talk to him about it, and she made it very clear. She communicated very well. But why stay in unforgiveness when you've entered this process? In the process, you know it's 8 weeks. Why be so unforgiving? I don't, that part I don't accept. And I also don't think that she's going to make a good therapist for that very reason. She's very rigid. She's just a very rigid
Mhm.
person, at least what we see of her.
Yeah. Maybe that's something they're going to teach her later on in the classes.
I hope and pray. But let's see. Donna D responded back. Becca senses that Austin doesn't really like her, and anything Austin says, just a little out of the way, sets her off. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. She's easily upset. You know what? This season, what would tell me what you think, Kimberly? This season, minus Chloe, I feel like all of the women are very emotional.
Hmm.
They don't really handle their emotions very well. And I'm not saying you don't have the right to be angry, you don't have the right to be hurt when your husband doesn't isn't attracted to you or doesn't want you.
Right.
But at the same time, there's something called emotional regulation. And as an
Hmm.
adult, we're required to balance our emotions out, try to be able to communicate with our partners what we're feeling and why,
Hmm.
to see if we can come to a resolution, right?
Yes.
And I don't see a lot of these women really doing that. I see them just falling apart, crying. Lauren's rolling on the floor back, some weeks ago. We got this week, and we'll get to it in a second. We got Emily all on the floor in a public bathroom, God forbid. I just don't get it. It's not, I don't know. I'm sorry.
You're
It's
right.
so much. It's so much, these women.
Yeah.
But
And I'm
Donna,
not counting Chloe out either, because we don't know Chloe yet. I feel like once Michael starts critiquing her, she's going to be just like these other ladies in her emotions.
you might be right. You might be right because we do know that Chloe, she says herself that she's a recovering
Hmm.
perfectionist. So maybe if Michael says what he really thinks of her, maybe she will fall apart. I don't know. That could be possible. I just, it's a mess. It's a mess. But
Yeah.
back to Becca and Austin. Okay, so we talked about the jacket, and then what about? So we're gonna get to the another scene with them where we have them. So one of the things this episode, we get a lot of the apartment cam this episode, right? So we have Becca and Austin in the apartment, and the apartment cam is running, and so you got a lower grade of quality of film, but it's dark, and they're sitting there, and whether they recognize or remember that the apartment cams are always on, but they're sitting in the living room and they're having this conversation. And basically Austin says that she's doing him dirty, she's giving him a bad look on TV. And what do you think about that, Kimberly? Is she?
Don't see that. I miss those moments. Maybe Austin is just being super hard on himself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing that part, but I think Becca just likes to give the commands. She doesn't want to receive them. Kind of like the
Mm-hmm.
part where she said that she told Austin to like close the washer or something about mold, and he
Mm-hmm.
did it. She didn't even have to push and encourage him or repeat. herself to keep reminding him. But when he asked her something as simple as wash your hands, before you touch my coat with the clay on your hands, it was a big deal. So to me, it's like she just wants to give the commands, but Becca doesn't want to receive anything from Austin.
Oh, good point. Good point. And you know what? I absolutely agree with you. And that's a good pickup that you noticed that, because I did notice that this episode too. And in previous episodes, um, she wants to tell him what she wants him to do. And then here's another thing where I got a problem with Becca. Like he said, was it last episode or 2 weeks ago when they were at the gift shop from the Wolf Reserve, and he wanted his own bag, and she was like, "Well, you can just put it in my bag," but he didn't want
Yeah,
that. You know,
exactly.
I
Yes.
think, and I'm not sure, but I think that Austin may be an only child like myself, and only children, we are very unique in that sense that we sometimes will have some characteristics that some people might say a little bit selfish. But
Hmm.
what it is that we're so used to being the only child, and we've always been independent. So he wanted to carry his own bag. He didn't want it in her bag. And I think the thing of it that he pointed out though is that she micromanages him. No,
Yes.
no adult person wants another adult person telling them, "Well, tie your shoes, go brush your teeth." Like that makes her feel like a mother instead of a wife.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm kind of thinking, that he has a right to that point. But now back to you, Kimberly. You had said something that you hadn't noticed. I don't know if you recall that last week Becca had said that Austin was both dismissive and combative in his behavior and his words. So I think that's where Austin was kind of going, that she made him look bad on camera because she did call him combative. And I don't know what kind of job he has, but maybe he's concerned that, his job, his
Hmm.
supervisors will see this and say, "Well, oh, he's combative." That
Yeah,
sounds
that's a good
dangerous.
point.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So
I don't see that side of him. I don't see him, being combative. It's funny that word comes up again because it came up in our last year in another
Mhm.
show. But I don't see Austin as combative. So I wouldn't take that to heart.
Okay. Hello, Kimberly. Hello.
Oh yes, I was saying I wouldn't take it to heart what Becca was saying about Austin because his actions aren't showing me that. Like I don't see that side of Austin.
Okay, right, right, right. But and I get what you're saying, because I don't see that either. I don't see him being
Okay.
combative. I see him doing a very good job of controlling his emotions and just really trying to have a communication with her verbally. And then all the time when he has communication, to your point, when he asks her to do something, she starts crying and whining.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
don't know what that's all about, but that's not a good look.
Yeah.
Donna D has a comment. She says Becca's used to directing people in photo. Good point. Good point, Donna D. She definitely is right. Remember, she almost took over when they were doing Becca and Austin's wedding photo. Sure did. She almost took over from the photographer. Right.
Hmm.
She's very, very much used to giving. But see, that's where, Donna D, do you think that that's where maybe as women we have to come out of our work clothes and our work mindset, and when we're at home and in our personal lives, we have to let that go, because that's for work.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
not for in the home. And then
Hmm.
Donna D
Same
said it
with
may
Claire.
same with Claire. Oh, Claire is very bossy, very bossy. Donna D says it may be a little combative to bat her away when she flirts with him and then he laughs at her. Maybe yeah, that's a good point. Maybe Austin is combative behind the scenes. Okay.
Possibly.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a good point. That's a very good point. I hadn't thought of that, possibly, because, and then this is another thing these women have in common. Now, at least two or three of the women are saying that behind the scenes, when the cameras are gone, these men are different than they are when the cameras are on, right?
Hmm. I
That is,
believe it
I do believe that. I
because I
do.
would be. Honestly,
Yeah.
if a camera was stuck in my face, you're not going to get the same person on, especially that just knowing that this is a show that's seen all over the world, you are going to be kind of careful.
Right. That is true. Right. That's what I was gonna say. I think everybody, but I guess what this season, what they're saying is in terms of being friendly, in terms of wanting them and desiring them and kissing on them, the men basically when the cameras are gone, they don't have anything to say. They're not kissing on them. They're not being, so that's the kind of difference we're seeing, as
Hmm.
opposed for me, I think that the kissing part and the hot and heavy part, I would probably, if I were on the show, I would be doing more of that when the cameras weren't around as opposed to when they were around. Is that
Me too. Right.
kind of kind of makes sense? Yeah. So okay, so our next couple, we're gonna move on to this couple. Let me note this time here. Okay, so we're on to Chloe and Michael, right?
Yes.
Now Chloe and Michael, we speaking of apartment cams, we get the apartment cam of them. Guys, this is a PG-13 show here, so I'm not gonna go into, you either watch the show or you don't. But let's just say they were doing some very hot and heavy adult activities on the cam, so to
Yeah.
the point where that the show had to blur out their hands and their genital parts while they were on the couch. I don't know what movie they were watching. Maybe it was X-rated. I don't know. If you want to contribute anything, Kimberly, you welcome to, and then we're gonna push on.
Well,
Let's see.
you got it. It was nice that they did meet with Dr. P. I'm always happy to see her come and give
Yeah.
her expertise on, the hot and heavy time. So I think she did good, pretty much. Just not into the advice that she gave them, but maybe she gave that kind of advice because that's what Chloe is already comfortable with. And so she wanted them to add more to the pile, the collection. I'm trying to filter as much as I can. But yeah, so I don't know. It's good to see Dr. Pia doing her thing, and I look forward to seeing what happens next week.
Yes, yes, absolutely. She did give them some advice. She sent them to go to a hot and heavy time shop for adults
Yeah.
and to do a little looking around and to find some things that they thought might help them have the big O. I'm being very
Mm-hmm.
careful with my language here, the big O, and that they could maybe have the big O together, but yet separately, if that makes any sense. Like,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
And
But the
so
laughing
they
was a
went.
lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. They went to this hot and heavy time shop, which by the way, I thought this was funny. Um, the shop was called Vanilla. Did you catch that, Kimberly?
Yeah. Right.
The shop was called Vanilla, and they went there to this shop, and they looked around. They looked like they were having a good time. They are definitely the most mature couple on this season. They seem to kind of vibe well together, even though they're not, as far as we know, they have not consummated the marriage.
Yes.
But they seem to vibe very well together and get along, and they're not fussing and fighting like these other couples are. So I don't know.
True. And I
Um,
do like that Michael corrected her when she was laughing so much, and he was like, "This is not going to help me." So I like that part. I'm like, okay, he's
Oh,
standing
I
up.
missed that. I missed that. What
Oh
did he
my
say?
goodness. She was laughing so much when they went home, and it was time to go to bed. And he was like, okay, let's, try out what we purchased. And she was just laughing. And he was like, can you stop doing that? He said, that's not going to help me at all.
Oh.
So I said, okay, he's going to start critiquing her and we're going to see how she handles it.
Donna D has a good point. She is pointing out that this week the scene between Chloe and Michael wasn't quite as erotic as the shower scene between Nate and Stasha back in the San Diego edition.
Oh,
Good point.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That scene with Stasha and Nate, that was hot and heavy.
That was
That was like, ooh, that was fire.
next level hot and heavy.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. So let's see. Our next couple we're gonna move on to is of course last but certainly not least. Let me take this comment off the board too. We've got Emily and Brennan. Ooh, child. what to say about this couple. So we start, like I said, we already talked a little bit about how Emily was talking to Claire. So we got that scene out the way. So the next scene we get to Emily and Brennan are at looks like a steakhouse. They're out for a nice dinner. She's got on a nice little skirt set with a jacket, and they both look nice, and they're sitting at the dinner table, and she's saying that we are survivors, and they're cheering their drinks, they're clicking their drinks together. But the next thing we know, Brennan, he kind of takes the lead, and he says, yeah, I'm glad that we've established this as a great friendship. And what does Emily say? She says, a friendship. I don't understand. I thought we were working toward a marriage. And things go downhill quickly from there. What did you think of this conversation at the dinner table?
Emily is so naive. Poor girl. She,
Hmm.
even at the beginning of the episode, she says she's looking forward to telling Brennan that she wants to keep him in her life, something like that. And then she was feeling, a little positive about decision day since the accident. But like we said earlier, this was just Brennan being a decent guy, helping her out in the time of need. But Emily is just taking it too far. Kind of like if, you're out somewhere and your crush looks at you, you're like, oh my God, he saw me, he likes me. No, his
Right,
eyes are
right.
just working the room. Is not
Yeah,
that into you.
absolutely.
Don't let it get to your head.
Right. Don't let it go to your head, girl, as that song says. Don't let it go to your head. She tells him that she notices after the honeymoon that he became very much on guard. He tells her, she says that she tells him, I wouldn't have stayed if I didn't think that we couldn't have grown together. And she says, well, why did you stay? And then he tells her, well, if we hadn't have stayed, you wouldn't have almost died. And I don't
Mm.
think it was worth it because I almost lost you. And now I'm totally confused because I'm saying, like, he really even cares, right?
Right, right.
Uh, then after all of that, all this emotion, Brendan finally buckles down and gets very stoic, and he says, because the server came and brought their steaks in the midst of this argument, and he says, "Can I just eat my steak for 5 minutes?" and you just and you just see Emily. She's just sitting there seething, like, what? She is like, "Eat my steak? What is going on?"
I can't even believe you're hungry. I'm in love. I'm not even hungry.
Right, right, right. But I mean, being a true man in that sense, he's like,
Yes,
food comes first. They brought my steak. I want to eat it while it's hot.
hot.
And then right. And then the next thing you know, so Brendan tells Emily, well, you had some red flags. Now, this is something I went back and I played this over and over again. This is something a lot of people on the reviews, I don't think they caught this. The first thing he said that they didn't have chemistry. Number one.
Hmm.
Did you catch that?
Yeah, he said romantic chemistry. It wasn't there.
It wasn't there. And see, a
Yep.
lot of people are saying, well, why doesn't he like Emily? She's so nice. She's so
Ooh,
wonderful. She's so cool. No. Mm-mm.
no.
No, quit saying that because let's be realistic. First of all, Emily drinks too much.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, Emily has told everybody that would listen, including his best friends, that she's promiscuous too.
Mm-hmm.
And three, I don't know when because we're going to get to it in a minute about how he basically gaslights her about not being positive. But I think what Brennan he's onto something. I think there is a point where a lot of times we see Emily, especially if you watch the after party, Emily is very, very snarky.
Mm-hmm.
She's very snarky, she's very dismissive, and also, as far as my own personal red flag for her, she, like Claire, lacks self-awareness. She
Yes.
doesn't really know how she comes across to people, and that's never good. That's never good. So
Yeah.
moving on, let's talk a little bit about the second thing that he said outside of romantic chemistry that they clearly don't have, and that's the way he feels at least. He says the second thing is she's negative. What were your thoughts about that, Kimberly?
I agree 100%. The girl kept dropping the F bombs like there was nothing in this conversation that warranted so many curse words, and she just kept going and going. To me, she is negative, and I'm glad that he pointed that part out. Now, he's not Mr. Positive himself either now, but
No,
she has to own that moment and take that criticism and then just sit with it, because the first thing she did was she reacted. Oh, nobody ever says that. I'm the most positive person ever, was her response. And I'm like, wait a minute.
yeah, wait a minute. The
Let's
most positive effing person, the most positive effing person. She made sure to get all those F bombs in there, right?
exactly. And that is negative. That is 100% negative when you always have to curse. You can't even have, civil conversations when you're trying to discuss something without cursing. Cursing is negative.
It is. It is. It's negative, and another thing I would say is that I've always, whenever I was in a dating relationship or any kind of relationship, I've always felt like I don't want my man or the guy that I'm dating, certainly not the guy that I would be married to be cursing. Whether it's cursing
Mm,
at me or cursing around me or in front of me like that, like F
yeah.
bombs. Maybe if you drop a damn here or a hell there, okay, no big deal,
Hmm.
but if you're going to say the F bomb and every other word out your mouth, because now that really does come across as aggressive. It comes
Yes.
across as aggressive and combative. And
Hmm.
that was what Emily was doing. She was dropping a whole lot of F bombs, and she never acknowledges that. She never
Right.
acknowledges that she's doing that. And this isn't her first time doing that. A lot of these women on this season's cast think that just because they cry, that makes them right. Just
Mm-hmm.
because they're hurt, they're now the victims, and everything that they did wrong, we're supposed to overlook it and we're supposed to feel like they're the victim. I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way because you've made yourself your own victim in that case.
Hmm.
But I want to go to this comment that Donna D says because she has a very good point. So Donna D says they had romantic chemistry the night of the wedding. They both said they couldn't wait until the camera crew left. They may Yes, they may have done it. I absolutely believe Donna D, you're onto something. I've been saying since that night, since we saw that week when we saw that on their first night of the wedding. I've been
Hmm.
saying that they have definitely done the deed, and I felt like they did it. But then I felt like you got to think about this from a man's perspective, and certainly I'm not a man, but I do know this part about men that a lot of men will have sex with you whether they like you or not. And
Yes.
I think he just did a biological function with her. And once he did it, and then, she's still running her mouth about, oh, yeah, I like one night stands. And, I ain't never had a relationship go past the third date. And,
Hmm.
I just have sex with anybody because, I'm still in my college sorority days, even though I'm in my 30s.
Yeah.
No, ma'am. No man wants his wife to be the girl that everybody done did. No man
Right.
wants that. And I don't care how much we go into modern day history. Sometimes the rule is the more things change, the more things stay the same.
Hmm. So
You
true. And I'm
know,
glad you brought up the thing about relationships too, because that tie into what she said, that nobody has ever told her about her personality. But if you haven't been in a long-term relationship, how could someone fill you out long enough to tell you about yourself?
exactly. Exactly. We heard from, if we go back, I'm not talking about go way, way back before the weddings even occurred. We heard from Emily, one of her close friends, and she said, Emily, you are very selfish and self centered, and I don't think you're ready to be married. She told her
Hmm.
that.
Sure
So, like,
did.
that's your best friend. Now, that if your best friend is telling you that you are self centered, selfish, you're immature, you're not ready for a marriage, why wouldn't you listen?
And that's not a characteristics of a most positive person.
Not positive at all. But so I'm gonna scoot us along. So while they're having this argument and trying to figure out who is most positive, um, Emily, she storms off. She's doing the crying thing because she got to be the victim. She storms out of the restaurant from the table and goes into the public lady bathroom. she's on the floor with her short skirt, and I'm trying to
Mm.
imagine. Hopefully, no germs are creeping up her skirt and up her thigh and somewhere else where they
Ooh.
shouldn't be. I was just repulsed. But anyway, this is another thing about Emily, and this is where it's not Emily; it's actually the people around her. Right? We hear
Mhm.
the producer saying, "I was shooketh. I was shocked. I would never describe you that way, Emily." And I'm like, wait a minute, doggone it! Isn't the producer supposed to be neutral?
Right.
Why is the producer saying all of this to her, telling her, I would never describe you that way? And just kind of like she's got this cheerleading section. See, your friends, if you got friends that are always telling you that everything you do is right, that's a
Mhm.
problem. That's a problem.
Exactly.
And this time it's the producer who's supposed to be the neutral party. And I'm thinking to myself, when she goes back and looks at this, watches this season, I hope that she actually does really begin to see herself the way we, the public, are seeing her. A little bit the way maybe Brennan was perceiving her to be negative, perceiving her to be immature, perceiving her to be angry, perceiving her to be snarky. And we saw a lot of her snarky and her anger come out on the after party with Keisha.
Sure did.
Keisha Knight Pulliam asked her simple questions to try to get her to clarify, and she was snapping at Keisha Knight Pulliam, and I was like, "What? You can't be snapping at my Rudy now. We
Right.
ain't
Not
playing that.
really.
I don't know what you thought this was, but that's America's sweetheart right there. We don't know you next season. We won't even remember your name, girl. But
Right.
Keisha Knight Pulliam, she is American royalty. Okay, okay.
Yes.
So, but what I thought was really funny, so they pan back over to the table. Brennan pulls his phone out. He's on his phone, and the only thing I could think to myself is, who was he talking to? Who was
Cameron.
he? Is it Cameron or is it the lady that he met on a double date?
Oh.
I don't know. But anyway, so Emily finally comes out the bathroom. I guess the producer told her to get up and clean herself off, dust herself off. She comes back to the table and sits down. And right away, what does she do? She tells the waiter, I need another glass of booze, please. Okay.
Mm.
And see, this is what he's talking about. He doesn't like it that she hits the bottle the way she does.
Yes.
Um, he tells her we're not making any progress. And then we're going to move forward. So they basically didn't have a good dinner. We got another scene with Emily and Claire once again, but this time Claire says, "You know what? I got to tell you the truth, girl. I've been holding this back, but I got to tell you that Brennan is not respecting the marriage the way you are. I heard from a little birdie that Brennan wanted to go on a double date with Cameron. What do you think about that, Kimberly?"
I find it hard to believe. Maybe they were talking about listen, this is a long shot now.
Okay.
Maybe they were talking about going on a double date with Claire and Emily. Because I find it
Mm,
hard to believe that these cameras are following these men around and they really think they're gonna run off and date somebody else in
I
Denver.
don't know.
Oh
Wait a
no.
minute. Wait a minute. You could go way, way back. Hold on a minute. Was it North Carolina? It was a southern town when we meet the basketball player. He was dating other women. In fact, he was dating his wife's friend. Remember that?
I
Remember the tall
don't.
basketball player? I can't think of his name. I want to say Jake, but I don't think it's Jake.
But
Guys,
I'm
chime
thinking,
in the chat if you hold on one second, if you know who it is, chime in the chat, or if you're watching on the replay, chime in the comments. Who was the tall basketball player that was dating a little cute blonde school teacher, and she was really falling into him, and he was we find out later that he was going out on dates with her girlfriend. But go ahead, Kimberly.
yeah, I'm thinking the Brennan that cares about how he's seen. I don't see that he would do that. The
Okay.
Brennan that claims he cares about how he's viewed on TV, I don't see that he
Good
would be
point.
running around with a somebody else, with the potential of getting caught.
Okay, good point. Any reason besides getting caught? Any other reason?
I think he would just be the type to maybe take a break or a minute to just do his own thing. I mean, we did see later on he did end up leaving early, kind of, but that's just it. I wouldn't imagine he would be the one to run off while he's still married and then just entertain someone else so soon, knowing that. you're not even at the end of the process yet.
Okay, and you maybe not, because Dunady brings up, and this is not the couple that I was thinking about, but she brings up a very good point. She says, "Remember the season? Where were they at with that season with Ryan? Ryan was going on a dating site a week before decision day
Yes, I
with
remember
Brent.
that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember what city that was in, but yeah, I do remember that. That's another good example. But I just think of the one we know for sure the guy was actually on dates was, like I said, the tall basketball player. That was early in Married at First Sight history. So I think they were in Charlotte. I want to say they were in
Hmm.
Charlotte. I
It
can't
was
remember the
Charlotte.
guy's name. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Donna D says that Brennan says that he was just joking. Yeah, he says that. So I don't know. I don't know. But then I think about, well, why would Claire tell her that? Because I know as a friend, it is a very precarious situation to tell your girlfriend that her man is cheating on her, because what can happen is they can actually stop being friends with you, and they're going to stick by their man, right? So
Yeah.
why would Claire tell her that unless she has some real solid proof that this is true? I don't know. You guys tell me what you think in the chat. Tell me what you think on the replay in the comment section. I really would like to know, but no good is gonna come from all of that. That's the only thing I
Right.
can say. That no good is gonna come from it.
Yes.
And then the last thing we got, guys, we got M. So that scene ends, and then we've got Emily is back at home in the marital apartment, and we see her FaceTiming Brennan, and Brennan is telling her that he has basically saved her life. What do you make of that, Kimberly?
Oh, it's just like, can we get this over with? I don't know. I just it's too much flip flopping, negativity on all sides, and I just don't understand why they're dragging it out. Like, we have all these episodes. Do we
Yeah.
even need a decision day?
Mm-mm, no, but you know what? Because, but yeah, but yes, yes and no. I'm gonna say yes, and I'm
Okay.
gonna say no. No to you, to your point. We don't need a decision day because none of these people need to be together, right? And we're only doing the three couples, by the way. We're only doing Claire and Cameron, Becca and Austin, and Emily and Brennan. Those are the only three, because of course we know Lauren and Orion. They're already Splitsville, so that no need to mention them.
Okay.
But here's the thing, though. Yes, we do need it because typical Married at First Sight fashion, somebody is bound to say yes. I believe we're going to have a surprise couple that is going to say yes, and within a week or a month or two they're going to be broken up.
Yeah,
Cuz
that makes
remember
sense.
go back to San Diego. We had what's the tall guy? Alexis and her husband, the tall Justin.
Oh,
Was it
Justin.
Justin? Yeah, we had Justin say yes. We had Alexis say yes. I think they didn't even make it through the end of the episode, and then she changed
Nope.
her mind. She said, "Oh hell no!"
Yep. They did. And she's engaged now.
She's engaged to a woman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she came out. I guess she said she was bi, and she got into that, and now she's getting ready to marry a woman. So go figure. This show
Yeah.
can be very tricky, guys. But
Yeah.
I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us till the end while we wrap this up. I appreciate you so much. Be sure to drop down in the comments. Be sure go ahead and like the video. Let me get your information up real quick, Kimberly.
Thank you.
And you can tell, and please tell us, Kimberly says, like the video, like the video.
Yes.
uh, but Kimberly, tell them what you got going on your channel on Wednesdays and Fridays, please.
Oh, yes. On each Wednesday and Friday, we are watching the shows that you love: Married at First Sight on Wednesday and Ready to Love on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for both shows. And we'll just do the live watch on your own device, however you watch your TV shows. And we'll chat about what's going on in real time. So, hope to see you all over there on my channel.
Absolutely, absolutely, and thank you for that. Let me get back in here in the comment section real quick. And right, okay, well, we're gonna shimmy and shake on out of here, and we'll see you guys. Love you. We'll see you well in another hour. I'll see you for Ready to Love with another panel as we recap the own show Ready to Love. We'll do that in just a second, in about an hour, so come on back. And again, thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We're going to shimmy and shake on out of here.